Hello everyone, welcome to this next video on vector calculus. Here in the previous video we saw what is a line integral. Let us now discuss about conservative vector field and the corresponding scalar potential. So we saw that whenever you have some vector A and you wanted to calculate its line integral over some curve C dot with dr, so that will give you the tangential direction for this vector A, and then you will calculate its line integral. So if what if this vector A, suppose this vector A here, that represents the corresponding force quantity. This represent force. So in that case, when we move along the curve C, then this line integral that represents work done by the given force. So that represents work done by the given force, right? So you see, this line integral has a physical meaning. That means whenever we have vector defining force, in that case this integral, this becomes work done by the given force. So we can study the property of work done by studying this integral alone. So that is the power of mathematics. Okay, so suppose in this case, if we consider C to be some simple closed curve. Now what do you mean by simple closed curve? It means that you can draw the curve like this, such that the curve do not intersect each itself, and it is so that we meant by simple, that it does not intersect each other, and moreover it should be closed curve. That means this is correct. That means we do not want some curve of this kind, this is incorrect, and we also do not want some curve of this kind, right? So these curves, they are not allowed because they are intersecting each other. So our curve should be simple and closed curve. So this C represents this simple and closed curve. Now we require to calculate the line integral for this kind of simple and closed curve. In that case, this line integral defined by vector A dot vector dr over C. So this is the notation here. So that means whenever you wanted to write the integration is being performed over simple closed curve, you can mark a circle here on the sign of this integration and write C here. So that means this curve C is a simple closed curve here. And when you perform this dot product, what is this quantity? This becomes a1 dx plus a2 dy plus a3 dz. So this is the quantity. Okay, so this is the notation that you have, right? So integration over the closed curve is of this particular function. Moreover, physically, in certain applications, for example in aerodynamics or in fluid mechanics, the integral which is defined by this line integral, that represents the circulation of vector A about C, where vector A, that represents the velocity of the fluid. Suppose an aeroplane is moving onto the sky, moving in the sky, right? In that case, velocity of the fluid is your air. So whatever is the velocity of air, this line integral will give you the circulation of vector A. So that will represent how will the fluid will move across that particular aeroplane, right? So this is the idea here. Okay, so having learnt about this, so let's see how can we find out the corresponding work done. So here's a question. It says that calculate the work done by the vector F, which is defined by this vector, moving from this point 0 0 1 to the point 1 minus 1 1 along the curve x is equal to t, y is equal to minus t square, and z is equal to t. So this is the given curve, and we are moving from the point 0 0 1 to the point 1 minus 1 1, and we wanted to calculate what work done will this vector do, right? So for that, we already know the formula for calculating work done. It is equal to the line integral of force into small displacement. That is what is work done. force into displacement, right? Okay, so here we are given vector f, but we are not given vector dr. So what would be our vector dr? Vector dr again is calculated, is given by dxi cap plus dyj cap plus dzk cap. So this is vector r. How this is obtained? This is obtained when you differentiate the vector xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. So this is your vector dr. You are given this vector f, right, in the question. So you can calculate the dot product of these two vectors, so it would be this quantity. So now we wanted to calculate this integration over this curve C. So that means we'll substitute the values of x, y and z in terms of the variable t. So these are defined to be parametric curves. What are parametric curves? Where all the given parameters are defined in terms of some other parameter. So in here the other parameter is the parameter t, right? So along this parametric curve, we will calculate the work done, and the work done is calculated from this point to this point here, right? So according to that, we wanted to calculate the limits for t, but surprisingly they are also given to you in the question. They t varying from t here varies from 0 to 1. Otherwise also you could very easily calculate the limits, because from here the value of x is equal to t, and that varies from 0 to 1, right? So accordingly we have these values of the curve, these limits for the curve C, and moreover when x is t, therefore when you differentiate it, you obtain dx is equal to dt. When you differentiate y is equal to minus t square, you obtain dy is equal to minus 2t dt, and when you have z is equal to t, you obtain dz is equal to dt. So you substitute all these values here. Instead of dx we are writing dt, instead of y we are writing minus t square, instead of dy we are writing minus 2t dt, right, this quantity. Then instead of x, y, z, dz we are again substituting all these values, and we are simplifying the terms, and now we just have to perform this integration. So when you perform this integration and calculate the limits, the answer is 3 by 10. So this is the amount of work done by the given force vector f, right, by the force vector f. So this is what we were required to calculate here. Okay, so let us now discuss the next thing. The next theorem, it states that if your vector a, that is represented by the gradient of some scalar function, if this is possible, if you can write your vector in this way, where R is some region of space which is defined within these bounds. So we have the bounds for x, y and z, and this function phi, that is a single valued and has continuous derivatives in R. These are the conditions on phi and the region where it is defined. So in that case, if your function is defined in this way as gradient of some function which is continuous and single valued, then the integration from the point p1 to the point p2 of the vector a with the vector dr dot with vector dr, that is independent of path in R joining the 2 points p1 and p2. So that means whenever you write the vector a to be of this form gradient of f, then this integration from p1 to p2, that is independent of the path, right? And moreover, this integration over the closed curve C is equal to 0. If it is independent of path, that means it will only depend upon, this only depends on the initial and the final position. The initial and the final position. So that means this integration would over the closed surface would be 0. Why? Because in this case the point P1 for the closed curve, suppose this is the given curve, this is the point P1, this is the point P2. Now if this curve is closed, that means if you make this curve as a closed curve, so that means this point is P1, you make it round as a circle so that the point P2 coincides with the point P1, right? So basically if P1 is equal to, so basically we can say that P1 point is equal to the point P2. So if these 2 points are equal, so when you perform the integration from the same point to same point, it is always going to be equal to 0, right? So this is the result. So it says that whenever your function could be represented as a gradient of some other function, so this integral is path independent, and moreover the integration over the closed curve of this quantity, that becomes equal to 0. So these are the two results that we have here. And moreover, in such case, the vector A is defined as the conservative vector field, and the corresponding function phi, that is defined as the scalar potential. So basically this gives you a crisp and concise definition for the conservative vector field, right? So in short, if you have the vector A, which is defined to be the gradient of subvector phi, in that case the integration from the point P1 to P2 A vector dot vector dr, that is equal to that is path independent, right? And moreover the integration over the closed curve of this quantity, that is equal to 0. If this happens, this vector A is the conservative vector field and phi is the scalar potential. And moreover we have one more interesting result, which says that if you are to check whether the vector field is conservative or not, you check the curl of a vector A, right? And or you check the vector A, either this could be written as the gradient of some quantity or not. Now in calculation, this thing, checking this thing is difficult. So basically what we do, we just check the curl of the vector A. If this comes out to be equal to 0, we say the vector field is conservative. Now how this appear? If you see this expression, if your field is conservative, that means you have vector A written as the gradient of some other vector, right? Now what is this thing? Del cross vector A. This thing is equal to the value of vector A, that is del the curl of gradient of some function, and there's a relationship which says that curl of gradient of some function phi, that is always equal to 0. So this quantity has to be 0 whenever your vector A could be written as the gradient of this vector, this scalar function phi. So this is the result. And moreover, if this is conservative field, so that means we are saying A dot dr, that is equal to the complete derivative of some scalar function. So we can write that to be the exact differential, right? So this is what we have here. So I hope you understood this concept of work done and what is the conservative vector field and scalar potential. In the next video, we shall see some problems related to this concept to make it more clear to you all. Well, that is it for this video. Thank you for watching.